black and brown bodies and poor people and put that to affordable housing. We want to see that with early childhood education. We want to see safe spaces for our children, and that doesn't come through over-policing. That doesn't come through arresting people for petty offenses, for petty violations. Did you know that 85% of the people arrested during COVID in the city of New Orleans were black? Did you know that some people were arrested for things that wouldn't hurt you or I, like possession of marijuana, where it's legal and people are selling it like in other places like it's an Apple store? There are dispensaries for these things in other places. New Orleans needs to catch up and stop locking black people up. So as I stand here today, I want us to remember the marching is fine, but we are going to take this rage, we are going to take this grief, and we are going to take it from the streets and bring it to the policymakers and demand changes. And we need more than a street name change to be happy. We need more than some statues coming down to be happy. Because when you take a parent out of the home with their child, you disrupt a family, you disrupt the community, and we're done with that. We're in a place where our city right now is thinking about building a new jail. Who do you think is going to be in there? Us. We have to fight against this. Yes. We have to not only say Black Lives Matter, but we have to demand it. When the city has their budget, we need to come to these hearings and tell them, defund NOPD, fund our public schools, fund other things, fund entities that keep us safe. And we also have to remember there are a lot of George Floyds in our backyard. So we're going to stop talking nationally alone, and we're going to bring it home, because there are a lot of things we can work on here. So I'm happy that you all are here to join us, and I'm happy that you're going to hear from people directly impacted by this system, because it goes so far. It even goes to environmental racism, and there are a lot of things we can do to fight this. And we didn't get from over 6,000 people in a jail to 800 in a day. It took a while, so I hope that you all are in this for the long fight. Thank you.
When I say defund, you say police, defund! Police. Defund! Police. When I say defund, you say police, defund! Police. Defund! Police. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sade, so much for those powerful words and just reminding us, yes, applause. And folks, this is what black leadership looks like. And this is what black leadership from New Orleans looks like. And Sade asked me to speak to y'all a little bit about the place of white folks in this movement. Right? And this is an important moment for a lot of white folks, some of whom are getting mobilized for the first time, some of whom have been in this struggle for a while, right? And I'm really proud to be part of a multi-ethnic, black-led organization like OPPRC. And it's really important, first of all, yeah, go ahead, it's applause is good. We gotta applaud our black leadership, right? And the reason it's so important is because we have to look, especially folks like me, European descent beneficiaries of white supremacy, wherever we are in our process, have to be looking to black folks and listening to what black folks are asking us to do. When black folks say that they can't do the emotional labor that white folks are demanding of them, we need to listen to that, right? And that's something that a lot of black folks have been saying. So we need to listen to that, you know? And it's just really important for people to understand that black liberation struggle impacts everybody, because everybody is part of the system of racialization and white supremacy, no matter what your ethnic background is. If you think it's not your business, you're wrong. This moment is telling you that you're wrong, right? As Mr. Al said, you know, people weren't seeing anything, and then they saw that knee on George Floyd's neck, right? So a lot of people who weren't seeing anything are catching up to seeing things that other people have been seeing for 400 years, all right? For 400 years. So we're behind. Those of us like me who benefit from white supremacy are behind, and we have some catching up to do. So what's the advice? Get with a group. Get with an organization. Figure out not only how to get involved in black-led organizing, but also figure out how to get with other white folks who can help you figure out what's going on wherever you are in your process. If you're at the very beginning of learning about these things, you can talk with people who are at this rally. You can talk with me and other white organizers from OPPRC and connect with other groups to learn about things to read, thought leaders to follow, and other organizations to connect with. Look, ultimately this is spiritual work, because the very idea, and I'm a pastor, so I'll say this, the very idea that we can look at what the suffering that's going on with black folks and say, this isn't my business, that's a failure of love for your neighbor, right? That's a hatred of the neighbor. If you think it's not your business that people are dying, that people are over-incarcerated, that people suffer their whole lives, the burden of being criminalized, then you have to look deep in your soul and look at what happened to you. And what happened to you is coming up under white supremacy and learning that you were white and learning that you were better than other people because you're white. And it's time to break all that stuff down, folks. We've been given a beautiful moment, a transformational moment, right? And people often say, if you wonder what you would have been doing in the civil rights movement, take a look at what you're doing right now, right? And we see that in this moment. There's a lot of people in the armchairs critiquing, but there's also people in the street. Thank you for being in the street and for being part of this. Last thing I want to say, there's a common slogan that says, no one's free until we're all free, right? And that's true, and we can agree with that. But if we don't put our asses on the line, it's cheap. It's cheap. It's cheap. I don't want to hear you quote that. I don't want to see it on Facebook. I want to see you change your life. I want to see you give your money to black-led organizations. I want to see you give your labor to mutual aid that's helping black people. Because otherwise it's cheap, and we don't want to be cheap. We want to be costly, because this time is going to cost us. But we're ready to pay. So thank you all. I'm going to turn it over to Michael next. Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for inviting me here and giving me some time to share some words with you all. So my name is Michael Isaluka, and I want to start off first with a land acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge the people who were on this land, who tended to this land for generations and for centuries before white people came. We, people of Southeast Louisiana, must recognize the Choctaw, the Chitimacha, the United Homa Nation, the Atakapa Ishak, the people who are here first and who are still struggling to win back their lands. Every single person who gathers here today lives on unceded lands. The United Homa Nation has been fighting for generations and continues to struggle for federal recognition. I also want to acknowledge the people who were brought and taken against their will and forced to work this land, black people, the descendants of whom still live here today. In St. James Parish, black people, the descendants of Africans who were brought here, who came up out of slavery and bought homes on that land, are now fighting for the right to stay in their homes, to breathe clean air, to drink clean water. Indeed, Formosa Plastics Corporation is threatening to come into St. James Parish to build a massive 14 plants complex in St. James Parish that would double the toxic emissions in that parish. And next door, yeah, boo, fuck Formosa. And next door in St. John the Baptist Parish, where the Danka DuPont plant is located, the only facility in the United States that produces neoprene, that has some of the most toxic air in the country and in the world, and people don't know that. And in that parish, St. John is not far from here. It's 45 minutes from New Orleans. They have the highest rate of death per capita from COVID-19 in the nation. These systems are connected. And right now, our state legislators have put their names on and voted on a bill that is sitting on the governor's desk called House Bill 197. And that bill would basically mean that any person, any black person especially, because we know black people are always targeted first, could be arrested for protesting, for exercising their rights, and sentenced to 3 to 15 years of hard labor. Tell Governor Edwards to veto HB 197. Now, why am I out here talking about some heavy ass shit? Slavery, genocide? This shit is crazy, right? Why am I out here talking about this? And it's because it's connected. And every single person I know here knows that these systems are connected. As we feel called to join in the nationwide black uprisings for justice, we must acknowledge the twin sins, the original sins of this nation, enslavement and genocide. And we must acknowledge that the legacy of these systems are impacting our society and they must be torn down. Now, one thing I do want to say is that there are reasons why Louisiana has these problems. Now, I work as an organizer. I work with workers in the petrochemical industry and with communities that are fighting, mostly black communities, all the way from East Baton Rouge down to the Gulf of Mexico in Plaquemines Parish. And I talk with workers every single day. And I ask them, why do you work in the plants? Why do you take these jobs that you know are not good for your communities, that you know are gonna give you cancer? And they tell me, down here in Louisiana, if you have a college degree, you might be able to go work for the government, you might be able to become a teacher. And if you, like myself, do not have a college degree or a formal education, you have a choice to make. You can work in home health care, making $9 to $10 an hour, or construction. You can work in restaurants, and I worked myself in the restaurant industry for 11 years, so I know this, making an average of $11.92 an hour. Or you can work in retail, or you can go to work in the plants. Now, the oil and gas workers that I talk to tell me it's the price you have to pay to make a living. Around here, you have to take what you can get. And that needs to change. So when we talk about defunding the police, about abolishing the police, when we talk about getting clean air and clean water and the right to live in our homes and the right to own the land that we were forced to work, we need to also talk about workers' rights. About workers' rights and about labor unions and about good jobs. And I am so happy to see the City Waste Union standing strong right here and fighting for their rights. We can't just be fighting to tear down these systems of brutality. We have to be fighting to replace them with something better. We have to be fighting to replace these evil systems with a new economy that is going to work for everybody in Louisiana. One more thing I want to say, and then I'm going to leave y'all be. And give me a second here, because I literally wrote this speech on my way here in my car. So I'm just rolling with it, basically. Hang on just one second. We have to know where we came from to understand where we're going. Every single person who is an organizer and a member of this movement needs to have a deep understanding of the political and economic history of this state. We need to understand that this state was built on the backs of black people and on the backs of indigenous people. And we need to understand that we all want the same things. I work with the concerned citizens of St. John the Baptist Parish who are fighting the Duncan and DuPont plan. I also work with chemical engineers who work in the DuPont plants. And we all want the same thing. We want clean air. We want safe communities. We want the right to go about our business. So why are we pitted against each other? If we want the same things, why are we pitted against each other? Why are native born pitted against immigrant? Why are white pitted against black? Who benefits when working people are pitted against each other? It is the ruling class The people who make their profits on our backs. The people who are willing to reopen this economy during a global pandemic and let us die so that they can make a dollar. Now, this system took 400 years to build, and I am an abolitionist, and I know that it's not going to be turned down in one day. Because if we tore it down in one day, it would be replaced with a system that is just as brutal and just as evil. So, today, every single person here is taking a step. We are not taking the first step because the first step was taken by black leaders who have been fighting for abolition and fighting for justice for generations. Right behind me, right here. What's your name, ma'am?
Eloise Williams.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Eloise, for being here and blessing us with your presence. I'm gonna finish up my talk, Miss Eloise, and then I'm gonna hand it right over to you. Okay, all right. Or I'll hand it right over to David, who will help me stay on program. But anyways, what we have to understand is that the first step was taken by black leaders who we are still following. We are not taking the second step, we're not taking the third step, but we are taking an important step forward today. It will not be the last step. It will not be the last step because I know that each and every single person here is going to continue the struggle. They're going to continue to fight in their communities, in their neighborhoods, and in their workplace for justice and for an end to the racist systems that terrorize each and every one of us. All right. So now I'm going to hand it right back over to Mr. David, who is our MC for this event.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michael. Sade, can we get you up to the front? Sade, Dumas to the front, please. Thank you so much. We've been hearing a lot about George Floyd. We've been hearing a lot about Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. We want to lift up right now the name of Tony McDade. Tony McDade. Right? Because we can't stand for Black Lives Matter without saying that Black trans lives matter, that Black queer lives matter, that Black gender nonconforming lives matter. We're here for that. We're standing up for that, right? And so we really are excited to welcome Milan up to the mic. Milan is the founder of the NOLA Trans March for Resilience. So please give a warm round of applause for Milan.
The people united will never be defeated. 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 Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Milan Yukosharu. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And yes, I am a Black trans woman, a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. I want to bring Breonna Taylor and Tony McDade and Malaysia Walker and China Gibson and Penny Proud. I want to bring all those Black trans women who have been unjustly murdered into this space. Now, I'm hearing a lot of conversations about defund the police and Black Lives Matter, but we can't have those conversations without including Black trans lives. As a Black trans woman, I've been terrorized by the law enforcement here in this city, but I also must speak about how I've been terrorized by my own peers in this city. Black trans women are being murdered at an extended rate. Black trans women life expectancy is 35 years of age. So if I knew as a Black trans woman I only had 35 years to live, and let's be honest, we don't start living till we're in our early 20s. So round that about, I may have a good 10 years to live. No different when black men only had 21. And these are statistics that you can look up and that are facts. So more than time than ever, this is a time as a community that we come together and we unify. And unfortunately, it takes individuals like George Floyd to spark such a movement where people say enough is enough and we are tired. I understand why people are protesting. I understand why people are rioting. I understand why people are looting. And people are having many conversations about, well, why are they doing this into their own neighborhoods? We as black people don't own nothing. These are not our neighborhoods. So all I care, burn it down, people. Burn it down. This is a time where we must plot, we must plan, we must strategize, organize, and mobilize. More than ever, this is the time. I love my black men. My brothers are black men. My fathers are black men. My uncles are black men. But I can no longer stand up and censor black men that don't give a damn about black trans lives. Say that again. The same men who put their hands on us, the same men who use us and manipulate us financially and sexually, but then got the nerve to kill us? Because of your own self-hate. Again, I'm not going to stay in here too much longer because I want to pass the mic on. But it was important for me to show up in this space today. Because as a black trans woman, my life matters, and I refuse to be silent. And like I said a few weeks ago, I'm from New Orleans, and I stand 10 toes down, and you're going to have a battle at hand when you step to me. So I encourage and challenge each and every one of you to step up, get involved, educate yourself so you can educate your friends, your family, your cousins, your peers. Educate your loved ones. And if you need for me to come in and educate, I don't mind sending each and every one of y'all an invoice because I do nothing for free.
You my contract, baby.
I just want y'all to know that I love y'all. I see y'all. And I stand with y'all. As a black trans woman, I stand with my community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Milan. It's so good to hear from a soldier and a warrior and a fighter, because we need that spirit right now. We thank you so much for being here with us. And I just want to say there's a scripture that says that no weapon formed against us can prosper, right? I heard some people say that behind me. Some people know that scripture. That's a scripture that's real big in the black church. So let's remember as we're about to struggle and as all kinds of things come up, no